attempt number 3 in Kydex Fun Fun, and I'm going to try to mold for the Springfield. Now I don't have any blue guns, so I'm molding off my gun. See how this goes. I'm going to keep the mag in it. It's empty, of course, just to make sure the polymer frame doesn't warp or anything. Here we go. I'm going to first cut the strip of Kydex. I've marked it where it needs to go. Brought the straight edge this time. I bet some of you guys are laughing at me. Never mind, I got a really good score with that. There it goes. It's being stubborn. Okay, I've already got my kitchen oven preheating to warm. I find that if you use your kitchen oven, which I seem to get better results out of it today, if you use your kitchen oven, then really the best thing you can do is set it on warm, leave the tray that you're going to set your Kydex out on. Don't put it in the oven yet. Put it to warm. That'll get your oven to about 110, 120 degrees. Put your Kydex on whatever you're going to put it on, slide it in the oven, shut the door, and leave it there for a good amount of time. Don't try to rush this initial warm-up time. Give it 10 minutes, and then turn your oven up till it clicks on again, that your thermostat in your oven tells you that it's actually hot enough that it needs to turn itself on. And then crack the door. This will let some of the heat out as the coils underneath it come on if you have an electric oven, and this will help prevent so much direct heat coming up that'll actually warp the Kydex. And then once a few minutes have gone by, shut the oven and let the last couple of seconds of that coil being on actually heat the oven again, and it'll take it all the way up, and it'll be nice and slow and gentle, and it won't just be a blast of heat. And then just slowly keep cranking the temperature up until your Kydex reads 350-ish or 350 plus a couple of degrees. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to trim this, and then I'm going to go into the kitchen and play the waiting game. Okay, so I have my piece of Kydex, and I'm about to stick it in the oven, which is already heated to warm. Once I stick it in, I'm just going to cut away, and the next time I come on, it'll be coming out of the oven to go into the press. So here we go. Alright, that's literally as tight as that one's getting. Alright, now we'll just leave it in the press for a little bit and see how we did. Alright, press is cooled down. I've unlatched her, and let's look and see what we got here. And that's pretty good. I don't know about what you guys think. Definition on it's really crisp. And when I put this in the mold, I'd already kind of decided that I was going to do a hybrid type holster where I'm going to have a Kydex front but a leather back plate, which I'm going to felt the back of as well. Well, I'm just excited about this stuff. This is a lot of fun, and shame on you guys for showing me what to do here, because I'm going to get myself in trouble. I'm never going to go to bed playing with a whole new set of toys and making my own toys now. This is on the verge of ridiculous. Man, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but inside there, you can actually read the fine print that's on this gun. It's just ridiculous, the clarity that came out of this thing. I mean, I can read all the serial numbers that were on it. I can read everything that was on this gun. And I probably could push the temperature of the Kydex a little bit hotter to get a cleaner impression further around the gun too. But I think this is going to work just fine. It snaps into place. I'll cut around that and then come up right there and then cut across, so give it a little bit of style. Get this mounted up. So tomorrow I'm going to go to the Tandy leather store, which is actually just down the road from me here. I got one right in my backyard. So they actually have a major distribution center here as well. I believe one of their headquarters is here. So I'm going to go there tomorrow, pick up a specific piece of leather I got in mind here. I'm thinking of doing something a little funky with this one. I think let's get a little creative, you know. Have a little style. Just because it's, you know, inside the waistband concealed carry holster doesn't mean you can't have some style. So I'm probably going to come back and etch some stuff into this too, maybe. Maybe I will. Do some reverse 3D etching or something. I don't know. We'll do some leather work and we'll get that all done tomorrow. I hope you come back and watch some of the ones that I'm going to put up about leather too. Be glad to answer any of your questions. Again, leave your comments. I'm new to this, so help me with it. And if you see something that I've done just stupid wrong, call me out on it, and I'll be glad to learn from my mistakes and take all the advice I can get. But I think I'm off to a pretty dang good start. So far, so good. I think it's time to order more Kydex. A lot of different colors too. So if you'd like one when I get it done, if you like what you see and you like one, let me know and I'll be glad to make you one. We'll see what we can do. Since I've always worked in leather, never worked in Kydex, so we'll see how I can make these both work together. I love the look of the, you know, Kydex with the leather. You know, it's kind of like old Western meets modern, and I really like it. So I'm gonna play around with a little bit of that tomorrow. So what I've done is I've actually created a new template that I'm going to try out to see if this fits and works and gives me the adjustability that I need for, you know, the cant and everything. So step would be to go grab a chunk of leather, which I got right here, and I'm going to see what leather works good for this. We're going to take it out of this little arm over here. First, I'm going to cut it off so it's a little easier to work with. Alright, I have now finished cutting out from my leather the piece for my holster. I'm not too worried about some of these little edges. Those are going to clean up once I, you know, take care of them. This kind of blade right here makes quick work out of leather, let me tell you. You drag it actually like this, and that hook really just does the number on cutting. So I don't think you got to spend a fortune on any special knives. So the next step in this, I need to cut my Kydex down. It's obviously bigger than what it's going to be used for, but it's going to go about like this right here. Something about like that. And it's actually going to take up this much space. Looks like I might have to drop it across the muzzle just a little bit. Cut it down just a hair. We'll see once I get it ready, you know, and all this cut out here and get just this part of it onto the template to see where we need to go from there. But with this, I'm actually going to dye this black, and then I'm going to cut the groove for my stitch, and I'm actually going to dye the stitch line a different color. I want to put a little flare into this one, so I'm gonna color it up a little bit. I think this one's gonna have a little class to it, you know, something a little funky. So until I get to that point, magic of movie making will take you there. Okay, to pick up where we left off from my camera going a little crazy, just taking the beveled edge here, or the beveler, and beveling out my edges here. Just trying to
even them out just a little bit. Some of these corners are a little tighter than this number 3 can. There we go. Can really scrape at. So there we go. It looks like I got it all the way around now. So the next step, I'm going to work on these edges just a little bit. So now all you do is you just rub the hell out of them. Okay, for this holster, we are going to take it black, and I should have put something down, which is what I'm going to do now. Yes, it is a Tandy Leather Factory bag. Look at that, multi-purpose. Multi-purpose. Alright, I got good old black. This is pretty easy to use, so if you read the directions, it says shake well, apply by sponge, distribute evenly using a circular motion, allow to dry, and then buff. So if you're worried about using stains because you don't know how to use them, trust me, they're that easy. Get it. I'm going to use a paper cloth. You put it onto the cloth and voila, you've got it. Okay. Always do this over something because the stuff will run. The reason you want to use a cloth is because, pretty simply, you want to be able to work it into any of the cracks and grooves and the stuff's fairly low odor. It does have an odor, but it is fairly low odor. And I don't really want to get this on the back, so I need to be a little careful, make sure I don't do that. But that's literally all you got to do. Alright, now one thing I am going to do with this particular holster, like I may have mentioned before, I want a little style with this holster. So I am actually going to cut my stitch groove. On my leather work, I always put a stitching line around it. It helps it keep it from coiling up as it softens and breaks in. So I'm going to actually put a stitch around all this, but the groove I cut for it, I'm actually going to stain that groove a different color. Ooh. All right. And since I'm going to be carrying a two-tone gun, well, by golly, I'm going to put silver inside of the lining of this. So I also have silver, but that's going to come in a minute. So that's the next step. And then just allow this to dry. It takes about 10 minutes or so. And then you can start working on it again. So I've got it stained black. The back is not black. We're going to take the back a different color as well, but I'm also going to suede the back so it's nice and soft against your skin. I almost forgot to start recording all of this. Now what I'm doing is I'm making my stitch groove. As you can hopefully see. Okay, so I am carving the groove in which my stitching is going to go into. It sounds like everybody's coming home now. Done is I have now finished the stain and I've cut the groove and I'm getting ready to I'll probably stamp it and drill it first and then I'll go back and stain this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on an inconspicuous corner just in case things don't line up when we're done. And all this is going to do is just put little dots in my line for me to drill. And there we go. I've got all my little holes all the way around. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and drill them out. And I just use that with my Dremel. It's a perfect tool for this job, so we'll start up there. Okay, now we're going to cut our Kydex. I really don't like doing this inside because it can get messy. It can get really messy. And I still need to heat this Kydex and bring it down a little bit. So let's see where we are. I need to lower this just a hair. There we go. Okay. So now this will give you a rough idea. Again, rough is the key word here. Don't have to have the dark room anymore. So that's roughly what we're going for here. And so now that I got that cut out, we can kind of see what's going on. So I have drilled out the holes in my Kydex. I smoothed out all the edges. And this is what I've got so far. It's pretty damn slick. So I've got that done. I just need to put in my rivets that are going to hold the screws to hold your waistband clips. And then I need to do my edges and stitch it up. Okay, so here's what we got so far. We got the Kydex on the leather shield. We've got our belt brackets there. There are adjustments, so if you need to make it go up or down, you can. I don't like these screws for this. They're not quite small enough, so I'm going to go back to the store tomorrow and get some new ones to fix that problem. I may get solid-faced rivets instead of these eye holes. That might just sweeten it up a little bit if you had solid metal, kind of like how this is, or it is on the other side. I think that might look pretty sexy, actually, instead of the holes through it. But it looks good. I haven't finished the back. I haven't done the stitching yet. Again, this is the first time I've ever put Kydex to leather, so it's a learning curve. I'm trying to figure out what works and what isn't working. But as far as the holster goes, boy, it works. Let me tell you. So, let me put it on. And another thing I'm going to do with the next one I'm going to do, I'm going to make it just a little bit wider, and I'm going to put some belt loop holes through it so you can put this on the inside your waistband or outside your waistband. But that's what I got there. I custom make really small, tiny brushes to do this kind of work. I just find some of the other ones are, I don't even know how to explain it. They ooze, I guess is the best way to really kind of explain it. Wow, that is silver right there. Like I said, I'm not even sure this is going to show up once I stitch it. But it looks really cool right now. So that's what we're going for. I wanted to try to have some style in my holster. I don't want it to be just one of those, oh look, I got a black piece of Kydex and a black piece of leather. How same as everybody else am I? So hopefully when I thread this up, I'll have at least a little contrast. And that's kind of what I'm going for. It's just something nice, you know? So, tedious as this is, the rewards I think are going to be nice. Because, I mean, you can't really see it in the video, I can guarantee you that. But this silver that I'm putting on here kind of has a metallic flake to it. And it just looks really cool. Well, I have now finished silvering the trim line, the stitch line. And so now I am going to get ready and actually stitch it. You can do single needle stitch or double needle stitch. Either works just as fine. Okie dokie. And then basically all you do is you stitch it up, in and one, out and the other. And then when you get to the end, you go back the other way, filling in the holes you didn't just do. So, and there's no special trick to doing this, you just do it. Alright, so now we're going to be sueding the back. We're just going to start right here in the middle. I am out of sponges. Sucky, sucky, suckerson. So, I mean, any way you can get it on. That didn't sound right, did it? So the way you're going to suede this is get it wet. And I probably should have done this before I put on all the hardware, but I wasn't sure some of it was going to work, so I didn't want to go through all of this trouble if what I was doing isn't going to work. But now that I can see it is going to work, bravo, right? This is how you suede something. Well, here's what I've got now. I've finished all the stitching. What I'm going to do now is I am getting the back of the leather really wet. I still have more sanding to do, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get some more definition in the back of the leather here. It fits the gun really tight. I just think it would look cool if there's some more form to it. So I am going to bone in a little bit here. See what we can't do to get this leather side looking kind of like the Kydex on the front, honestly. So we're going to keep putting some more moisture on it until I think I've got enough right about here. This looks, yeah, it's starting to already cut in here, so start finding some of my edges here. There it goes. That's what I'm talking about. So as you can see, I'm just finding my edges here. We need to put some more down here. Get that trigger to come down. And this isn't going to look really cool because, you know, it's not the smooth side of the leather. It is rough, but at the same time, this is going to give us not necessarily better retention, but it is going to make it more stable and consistent retention. Okay, here we go. So let's pull it into here first. This will also help start curling it inward. There we go. Now my sweat shield's really working it. There we go. I'm not looking for a ton of detail here. What I am looking for is just a nice form of the gun, you know. And I think that looks pretty good. So you'll definitely get more definition if you were doing this on the other side of the leather. So now that we got it like that, we'll bake it, and that'll help set it too. So, but that is going to do it for this video, I think. That's pretty much what I think I'm going to do here. And I've got some tricks up my sleeve that I learned from making this one that I will apply to the next one, make it even better. For the Kydex, I think I'll mold it with some wood when I put it down, so it'll deepen this set so that the leather doesn't have to curve. And honestly, you won't have to do this because this will just be flat leather. So, you know, it's a learning curve. Like I said, I've never done Kydex and leather together. And so what I'll probably do to this one is get the heat gun and soften this up a little bit and put a curve into this. And I think we're good to go. But got pretty good definition out of the leather there too. I haven't finished sanding it down. I still need to work on my edges a little bit. It's a little rough. But I think as far as a finished product goes, what do you guys think? Hit me up in the comments. I'd really like to know. Again, this is my first try, so not too bad, I don't think. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.